as I stand here walking on yet another journey through my internal space and tapping memories from the past according to what planted visions were in front of me, right? So when we watch something or consume something into our sight, into our ears, into any one of our senses, that memory then becomes a part of us, regardless if it's fiction or nonfiction, and it does shape a perception of how we view and perceive reality. So, my assessment is a lot of times they push things off as sci fi or fantasy or fiction, but it has a lot of truths written into it, right? So, movies that came up in my mindset recently, despite the fact that I don't watch movies, I am now slowing down enough and have the time in this particular part of my process.
Are all of those empty?
I'm not sure.
I just drove past and they look empty-ish.
I know they're renovating them.
Oh, like how many of them are they renovating?
I am not sure.
How many bedrooms are these typically?
2.
All of them?
I think so.
Is it all housing, Section 8, or do they have market as well?
I think it's just through Housing Authority.
Alright, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day. Okay. Back to original thought. It is really hard with ADHD when you're in a flow of a particular topic and an external circumstance comes into play that was unplanned. So typically when I'm on walks, I just not really talking to anybody. I'm just blending in with society, right? But certain people feel drawn to me to ask for directions or information or knowledge about certain things, and so it takes my brain a little second to get back on topic here. So what I was saying is about the movies providing us clues, though the clues can come from the bad guys or what we deem or perceive as bad guys in our minds. We can also see that they knew the playbook in advance. It's kind of like that Project Looking Glass or Operation Looking Glass or whatever it's called. And we can see like signs and clues in different various texts throughout history, like Lewis Carroll's Through the Looking Glass. There's a song by Stone Sour, which is the lead singer of the band Slipknot, Corey Taylor, his other band, talking about the looking glass. When I look deep within and analyze the metaphysical component of the looking glass, I also pick up readings of our third eye as a looking glass, an ability to experience and see into the future in advance, depending on how quiet we are able to place ourselves in our settings. So quieting the mind, slowing down, meditating. So what I'm speaking of now is a typical process that would go through my mind in meditation, but using my words to articulate and convey a topic or a meeting ground, if you will, for us to expand upon this particular thought or a thought that maybe has popped up in alignment with your own journey, and suddenly, like, say there's a keyword or a trigger. Not all triggers are bad. Some triggers like ignite us and get us started, get that energy flowing, get that energy pumping. Suddenly our brain is like experiencing like all this creativity, and those are the moments, like, it's your waking day. So we talk a lot about keeping a dream journal, and if something awakens you, writing down the time and what you were dreaming about and studying into the dreams. But what you are doing in your waking moments matters too, right? So writing down these keys that are coming in, or if you have an eidetic memory, you can plug it in here and there throughout the day. So say today, traveling around the internet, I see a lot of posts with the colors green. And this morning when I had dropped songs, I noticed, without me even trying to do so, it was just my soul leading into a particular song, one after another. And coincidentally, it so happened to line up that each album cover that was displayed had the color green in it. So then I see another Annan's post with the word green. And so just like little clues about like that, our souls are digging this from the depths, the bottom, like things that we don't remember necessarily in this moment until we slow down to assess what this all means. We are coming together as one family, one team, and uniting. And note how all of it is aligning according to the plan. It would be known in advance by God or the divine or the team or whatever, what each person is going to do in advance. So almost as if they have an oracle or an AI that is able to predict and read the future, and also present it in a way in the past that can show a potential outcome if things don't change. So rallying people together, inspiring them to stand up and make a change, use their voice, be brave in their First Amendment rights, and fight for First Amendment, fight for the children. And while we're doing that, we're still learning and growing and adapting spiritually. Q has led a lot of people back to God, and that is a really beautiful thing because now God is becoming more understood, and understood that it's more than just that black and white text that's written in a book. So there's energy that goes in behind it that is produced. And with any spirituality, we have to be aware of the person delivering the message, because it isn't about like the words necessarily, because words can come out kind from an individual that doesn't have good intentions in mind, but maybe they use words of flattery or something that they know will get under the skin of deep-minded, sensitive souled individuals, and they can learn to manipulate around certain events. So this is where the movies that stand out most to me are to watch Minority Report and Equilibrium. So one was where they used an oracle. She like floated in water, connected to some tubing, I think I remember, and they were able to use her to predict future outcomes of crimes that people would commit before they commit them, right? So was it sometimes inaccurate, and good people were getting hung up in inaccurate translations or future events? So we see in that movie like people fighting back against that kind of technology, because it's kind of like that guilty till proven innocent. But if there is like that AI or that thing in the middle that's saying like, no, this is solid, or we think of the oracle in the Matrix like guiding a certain way, but we always have the ability to change that, right? So no matter what anybody says, like even if you're sitting in a card reading, that doesn't make it 100% fact, because what is being pulled is going to be pulled through the sender and receiver, like the energy, the experience that they're going through together, while combining and trusting and learning to release and let go between the energy worker and the client. So there's a lot of bad spiritual people out there too that do not have the intent to show up authentically and do tend to tell people things that will push them into a state of fear and a state of panic versus a state of love and comfort and joy. So we want to be weary of the information we are receiving at all times. And if it makes us feel bad, it's probably that the sender is there's either confused energy and it's just not a good sync to begin with. So the frequency isn't going to be matched up. Or that spiritual person is a complete fraud and they don't even know what the heck they're talking about. They're doing it for money, similar to doctors and lawyers getting into those kind of fields, particularly for the love of money versus the love of helping people or the love of justice. So we experience this in all career paths, right? The inauthentic, the fake, the Barbie, the plastic versus the real. And what is really disappointing me in society is that good people that are in alignment making the divine proud, I can feel that and I can pick up that energy, are also now harming and hurting other good people because they don't know how to feel or detect the souls within because they are still being motivated and driven by ego, self, but not because they intentionally are doing so. So it's not their fault. It's one of those instances like, Father, please forgive them, for they know not what they do. There's a lot of disinformation going on. There's a lot of smear campaigns. There's a lot of competitive, ego mania led narcissistic abusers trying to control good people. And this is why we have to stick together and we have to use our voices to stand up for each other, because I don't want to see good people falling backwards and behind into the snares and tricks of Satan because they are sick of being lied to. So to develop a strong bond with Jesus and also be able to connect that to Q and quantum and physics and metaphysics and the spiritual realms, the astral realms, and literally study everything, the world around you, as if you are a baby child learning and growing for the first time. So you've never learned or you never experienced life from this angle or this perspective before. It's maybe fresh, maybe it's new, maybe you're just going through your awakening process. But so you are still in that stage as if you are a child going through growth spurts or growth pains. Sometimes you're gonna feel that sense of resistance or that urge to be like, no, like this is just all wrong. It doesn't make sense. It goes against everything I've been told. But if we are to break free from the lies they have told, society has to get better about being more open-minded and aware that there are good people sent to teach them. And it is really, really, really sad to see dedicated, faithful, loyal, humble, honorable patriots being slammed in the mud and attacked because they have this golden and divine insight. And that insight is earned, guys. You have to work for it. I think that this energy is accessible by all. It's a connection to source and it's a good relationship. So it's okay to learn from each other and grow and adapt, but we have to be the ones standing up for our own truth, our layers, our morals, and our beliefs at the same time. And beware that we don't want to all become like each other. We want to be our unique, individualized selves. And so people aren't going to perceive anything the same way you do. They're not living in your body. They don't know you like you know you best. So you're going to have to be your best cheerleader. And when you look within, you find that that cheerleader within you, God, Jesus, Q, Holy Spirit, whatever you want to refer to, source energy, as works together as that like union, that trinity, to help you evolve and grow past self-limiting beliefs that no longer should be holding you back this stage in the game. And it's not a game, but it's a game to them. So good guys do have to do things to shed light upon the enemy and share mirrors of what they're witnessing in society. And society may take it as, oh my gosh, this person is this kind of person. Like, what the heck? I thought they were somebody completely different. And in reality, they are being informed via the source energy of what to say and what to do at all times. They're guided. And just thinking back of how it being a military operation, I do think that there are good quote unquote actors that are going through the shit alongside of us. We are not alone. We go through this together. And the ultimate realization is that we are humans in this setting, this environment, but in reality we are souls having a unique human experience, and we're here to observe, expand, grow, and we're walking each other home. Where home is, that part is up to us to decide. That is that gift within that God provides us. So it's going to look different to everybody. So it's kind of really getting involved with yourself and tapping into who do you see in that family, big family reunion photo in the end that is going to be the back cover of your book. So like if you were to put that family photo on the back where they give the summary, who's included in that full picture for you, because they are the people that influence, help shape your memories, and the people that would make the most amount of impact upon you. And this is why it is important to be grateful for all experiences and souls encountered, because you are never where you're not supposed to be from learning, unless you're trying to completely go off on your own path aside from God. But I think many of us are trying to stick to that straight and narrow path in accordance with what God wants to see and what makes him happy, realizing that nothing can stop what is coming. Everything is going to happen in divine time, and nothing we say as human beings or do can alter the reality of this set timed experience. So to me, I think it is better off not to know and just to go on daily and always be reaching for that greatness within yourself, and always make yourself proud. So say yesterday you woke up and you had a goal to take 15,000 steps and you only got a chance to take 7,000 steps, and now you're feeling defeated, you're feeling like you can't go on, it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. You still made progress in your goal, and that goal had been followed through and attempted, but maybe something else came up in your life that prevented it from happening in accordance to your plan. So is it being altered now as the way God wanted it done, to see it from a different perspective and learn that we don't need to resist much. We just need to be understanding that anything can change, and we have to be adaptable to said change. So with that said, Either tomorrow you can completely give up and look at yourself as a failure and be like, nope, I didn't make it to my goal. I'm a piece of crap, blah, 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 blah. Or you can say, okay, that's still 8,000 feet I did not take yesterday, but let's see if today I can either take the 15,000 plus 8, or let's at least try to get to the 15 and then challenge ourselves to piece that other 8 in over time. So what is going to lead to the least stressful experience for you, despite you wanting something to get done now? So when we plant a seed in the ground, you can't just stand over the seed and just hope it grows in overnight. It's going to take time. It's going to take nourishment. It's going to take gentle understanding and patience to grow that seed. But as long as you're nurturing it, watering it, giving it sunlight, it will grow in its time according to when it's meant to bloom, when it's meant to, once it grows in, now we have little buds that are growing in, little flowers that are wrapped up tightly. And so now we're waiting on the flower to bloom. And that all takes time. We can't just expect something to happen now, because suddenly there's an epiphany that goes on in our brain. And we need to be less driven and motivated by instant gratification and instead go within, and take the steps necessary today to make it roll into action. It doesn't mean that you go from zero to having your business set up tomorrow, and having to take out a whole bunch of loans just to make it happen, and putting yourself in financial struggle and then quitting your jobs. Or you have to be smart, you have to be organized, you have to make a plan, and you have to stick to it. So even if it's something as little as like, man, I really want to be online with the Annans, but my house is getting a little messy. Like, what can I do today to cut out or reduce social media time? And maybe it's just like, well, in the past I was doing 0 towards making something happen and just getting angry at it instead of just cleaning it up, just being the bigger person and just doing it despite what you want to be doing now. And that also reduces the sense of jealousy that's felt towards other people for having different access to certain freedoms and whatever it is they got going on in their own life. So when we're busy focused on ourselves and what makes us happy and our joy and peace and calm that brings, we also don't have time to focus on drama or bullshit or whatever everybody else got going on. And you know, you may have your opinion of certain things and it may dissatisfy you, but why don't we just leave it up to God instead and let Him tell us what it is He wants to see? And in order to feel that, meditation and devotionals and getting physical, like moving your body, cleaning the house that's still moving your body, getting that energy flowing again, and not just sitting. Human beings are not designed to just sit at a desk all day or with their neck craned down, glued to the phone. So we need to be more aware and know that things are happening around us no matter what. So it is best to be in that mindset today that you can achieve anything that you set your mind to, as long as you yourself take the action steps necessary to make it happen. No one is going to do it for you unless you have a advocate that has to speak for you, or a translator, or maybe like a person that does sign language while you speak. No one is going to speak on your behalf. It is up to you to get out and articulate exactly what it is you want to see in your vision, your goal, making that vision board. And I mean, it doesn't even have to be a physical vision board that you go to Target and buy all the scraps and different things. If you don't want to be artistic about it, it could be something as simple as organizing a thread on your social media page. And these are your visions going down the line in one organized thread. So you say simply like, oh, in 5 years, this is the house I want to build for myself. I want to build it with my own 2 hands. I don't want anybody touching it. I want to study the process of how to build a house and I want to make it happen. Or, if you're in that mode where you want to get married in the future, looking to the future in dreams of that wedding dress or the color scheme you want to have for your wedding, or anything really, anything that sparks joy within your soul that you can physically work towards in the next 5 years should be going on that vision board. And then there has to be that big boom bam goal that you want to see as the whole piece unfolds in that 5-year time frame. So what are we up to? 5 years this year. I didn't start Q until 2020, probably summer, but there were definitely calls for vision boards over time in advance. So I think this is where reminding people of websites like Pinterest is a good productive site. We can pull positive imagery from those type of pages. A lot of times the site doesn't credit the artist that created it, so I would assume that if they placed it on the site, they are aware that it's going to be shared. So you never ever want to take someone else's content though and make a t-shirt out of it or design something out of it without their permission, or steal another person's work of art like that. There's a lot of artists out here, such as myself, that are totally willing to give out free artwork and enhance and increase good vibes and spread love around the planet. But it would be unfair to take that work in and sell it. That's like getting a Christmas gift from somebody and re-gifting it to someone else because you didn't like what you received. So this is also a lesson in gratitude, to be grateful for the gifts that are shown to you, and they don't always come in the form of monetary value. And I think this is another thing that we're being taught right now, is to learn to operate without a need for endless consumerism and materials, and operate from a sense of logic and what it is we're feeding our bodies, logging it all, and doing what we need to do to thrive versus just merely survive. So with that said,